Hi, and welcome everyone to your bonus lesson for Pinterest Pro on how to do keyword research. Today, we're going to dive into three main areas. We're going to talk about how Pinterest is more of a search engine than a social network. Then, I'm going to give you some ideas and tips for how to brainstorm keywords that are going to help you show up in Pinterest search results. Then I'm going to end today's bonus lesson with 5 places that you should be putting these keywords in your Pinterest profile. So without further ado, let's dive in. Earlier this year, the company Ahaology came out with a 2015 Pinterest media study. In that study, one of the biggest findings was that the Pinner experience is much more about discovering new content than it is about expressing their emotions, their feelings, or statuses. What that looks like in the day-to-day, for example, we're all familiar with Facebook, and on Facebook, a Facebook user will post a status talking about what's going on, that day, how they're feeling, maybe a great article they read, something along those lines that helps build a profile about who they are. But when that same user goes over to Pinterest, they're not there to post about how their day went. It's much more to search out and find interesting articles, beautiful images, and tutorials, things that are going to help them in their everyday life. So in this way, Pinterest is more like Google than Facebook. And that is the single most important reason that keywords are critically important to your success on Pinterest. On Pinterest, when you pin something, your followers can see that pin in their newsfeed. But that is a very limited exposure. You're only going to get exposure for a couple of hours, maybe a couple of days if your followers don't have many other people that they're following. On the other hand, if your pin is showing up in search results for their key term, that type of activity, that type of marketing strategy can help you get brand exposure for years to come. So, without further ado, let's talk about how to find your Pinterest keywords and where they're going to show up. One of the things that makes Pinterest different is the new guided search feature. So you can see down here, this is a depiction of what guided search looks like. Guided search is what separates Pinterest from Google. So on Google, if you have a very specific question, then Google's going to help you find the answer. If you want to know how many pints are in a gallon, Google can give you that answer really quickly. But if you want to know what's for dinner tonight, you might not know the right answer until you see it. So the fact that Pinterest search results show up as images make it a much better network for searching that type of question. Now with guided search, you're going to type in your main keywords up here in the search bar, and then you're going to get a line of suggestions beneath your search term. These suggestions are meant to guide you through to finding a more specific, relevant answer. In terms of how we use guided search for keywords, each one of these blocks could be another keyword that you would want to have your pin show up as the search result for. And for those of you who are really in the beginning basic stages of Pinterest, you should know that every one of these images does link back to a website. And that's how Pinterest can get people off of Pinterest and onto your website, where they can shop for your products, read about your blog post, and sign up for your email list. So a really good goal to get started is to try to identify 25 keywords that you think are really important for your customer. these are 25 things that they're likely to be searching for, and then it would be relevant and appropriate for your company or your content to show up as the search result. So what we can do here is talk about the right type of keywords versus the wrong type of keywords. I want to give all of you the best chance of showing up in the search results. And just like Google, the more specific the search term we're going after, the easier it is to be the search result. One of the important factors everybody should understand is that the search results in Pinterest are organized in order of how popular the pin is. So in addition to having great keywords, it's important to get a lot of repins on your pin. And I'm going to talk about how to get a lot of repins on your pin in lesson 2 when we talk about fast tracking your reach. So don't miss that. The live webinar for that one is on September 2nd. And then you'll have the replay available in your member area. Okay, so back to keywords. Short phrases are much more appropriate for keywords than single words. So for example, here what you can see is I'm using one of my clients, Brio Ice Cream, as the example product here. So I'm asking myself for the brainstorming session of keywords, can I come up with 3 different ways to describe the actual physical product? So in this case, ice cream was a really obvious one, but somebody might also want ice cream as a search result if they're looking up desserts or snacks. To put this in more of a service-based business example, if you offer graphic design services, your product might be logos, your product might be media kits, it could be image templates, it could be website design or website layouts. And so you want to come up with a list of all the different ways to describe your product. And this product section here is much more about the what than any detailed descriptions. The detailed descriptions come in next right here. And this is when you want to come up with the keywords that help refine the search. So for Brio, it's not just an ice cream, it's a healthy ice cream that happens to be gluten-free and non-GMO. So if I'm pulling out the 3 most important descriptive words, healthy, gluten-free, and GMO are going to be really popular terms on Pinterest. So when you're going through this exercise, this is really just about sitting down and coming up with a huge list of words that you think are going to be relevant. And then I'm going to show you how to refine that list in the next few slides. So by combining our product keywords with our descriptors, that's how we end up with a slightly longer list of relevant keywords. What you can see here is because I broke out ice cream, I broke out the product and the descriptor, I end up with 9 different keywords from only coming up with 3 ways to describe the product and 3 modifier terms. Now, when you're coming up with your keywords, you might say something like high-end graphic design. You might say graphic design for creative businesses. You might say customer-friendly websites. You might say colorful branding. Different keywords like that might help you show up in search results. Okay, and then what comes after you've gone through the exercise coming up with your initial list of 25 keywords is we're now going to take those ideas and apply them to Pinterest. So I'm going to go over this slide first, and then I'm going to show you live on Pinterest how this example would work. For your business, when you're looking up your guided search suggestions, you're going to go to Pinterest and you're going to type in your main keyword, and you're going to look at the guided search terms that show up. because these are the recommended modifiers, they're more likely to be clicked on or searched for. So you'll have an easier time showing up for healthy ice cream party than you would for healthy ice cream, let's see, what's not on there? Healthy ice cream treats. All right, so in this example, what you can see is I took ice cream, I added homemade, ice cream added recipes, ice cream added party. And from that, I narrowed down the list to the ones that were really, really appropriate for Brio. So ice cream sundae, which we see right here. Ice cream, and then when I clicked on the word sundae, I got another list of keywords. So now I'm seeing ice cream sundae bar. That could be another great keyword phrase for me. And when you click on bar, then what do you get? Or when you click on toppings, what do you get? So ice cream sundae toppings, then I get ice cream sundae topping recipes, which could be relevant, or ice cream sundae topping ideas, which could be relevant. So let's go to Pinterest so I can show you what this looks like. Okay, so on Pinterest, what you'll see here, I'm in as another one of my clients. This is a gentleman who provides some Tai Chi services. So let's do an example that's more in the Tai Chi realm. So an easy keyword for this would be Tai Chi. And when I hit enter, Pinterest searches for anything relevant to Tai Chi. Now right here, I'm coming up with a lot of great keywords that I'm going to want to incorporate. So I would write down Tai Chi for beginners. I would write down Tai Chi exercise, Tai Chi poses. And one of the things I want to point out here is you do want to be fairly specific with whether or not the words are singular or plural. You want to match almost identically what they pull up here in guided search. So I wouldn't do Tai Chi pose, I would do Tai Chi poses. And Tai Chi workout would be another great one, Tai Chi benefits. What I'm going to do with these keywords is I'm going to then create boards that have these keywords in the titles. And I'm going to show you that in a few slides. So what we're working on right now is not only coming up with keywords that we think will work, but then double checking to see if Pinterest is going to recommend or suggest the modifiers that I'm using. And beyond that, you'll want to look at each individual pin that's showing up as a search result. So for example, you can see Bruce has one of his pins right here as the top search result. And they are based, again, on the number of repins. So here, I took Tai Chi for beginners as our keyword. And in order to get those repins, again, you'll learn about this more in lesson 2, but we continue to promote this particular pin in group boards and repin it to try to get some extra attention on it. So beyond that, let's go back up here. I just want to show you the other steps so you can, because really the more keywords you come up with at first, it's going to help you to really refine and get more specific about the boards that you want to create. So if I go to Tai Chi for beginners, then here now I can see all the main search results and I can gauge whether or not I can rank for these. So if the top search results have less than 300 repins on them, and now we look here at the second row. The second row has a couple that have less than 100 repins on them. This is a really good keyword. It means it's less competitive and you'll be able to show up in the search result faster. All right, so now I'm gonna switch back to the presentation. So once you've gone through the process of brainstorming the different ways to talk about your product, brainstorming the different modifiers or descriptive words for your product, taking the combination of those keywords, putting them in guided search and seeing what other suggestions come up. If you're still stuck for finding really popular keywords on Pinterest, I can't tell you how powerful the autofill suggestions are. They are incredible. This is where if somebody isn't really sure what they're searching for, they're likely to click on one of the suggestions that Pinterest makes as they're typing in their search term. So I took 4 different screenshots here to show you what I'm talking about. So if I were to start typing in the word ice cream on Pinterest, a menu would drop down recommending these 5 keywords for me. As a Pinterest user, if I was looking for ice cream cake, I would be instantly clicking on this term. Or again, if I'm looking for recipes or an ice cream party, I'm going to instantly click on the search terms here that show up in the autofill suggestions. So once you've identified your core product and your modifier words, so if, again, my core product was ice cream, desserts, snacks, and my modifier words were healthy, non-GMO, gluten-free. So in this example, I took healthy and snacks, and I began typing it in to see what keyword ideas we would have. A great board idea would be healthy snacks on the go. That's really relevant. I could pin things and in the description be writing healthy snacks on the go. I might create another board called healthy snacks recipes. And for those of you that hopefully end up with a list of, I mean, right here, this is like already a list of 25 great keywords if all I did was take the top 5 autofill suggestions. And it's not too much to create 25 boards. And it's not too much to create 50 or 60 boards. I've seen very successful Pinterest accounts with hundreds of boards. Every board that you create is an opportunity to show up for a different keyword. So even if they're somewhat related, since you can rearrange your boards on Pinterest, they don't have to all be right next to each other. You can maybe have a healthy snacks board at the top of your profile, a healthy snacks for weight loss board, you know, a couple rows down, and so on and so forth. So you can have boards for all of these main keywords. All right, so there's one other set of keywords I'd like you guys to consider for your profile, and these are the seasonal keywords. Pinterest is an incredible resource around holidays for coming up with decor ideas, recipe ideas for different holidays, party decoration ideas. So if it's applicable to your business, it's a really nice way to incorporate and get a little extra pop of exposure around the holidays. So let's go back to maybe the graphic designer example. If I'm a graphic designer, I might say 4 fantastic social sharing images for Valentine's Day. And if I create that blog post on my website and I have 4 images on it, then I can pin each of those 4 images to Pinterest on a Valentine's board. And then I can even repin those onto my graphic design board. That way, and I would do that probably in late December, early January, when people are starting to think about Valentine's. You don't want to wait until the day of the holiday. You want to kind of do this about 30 days in advance is pretty good. So create boards for each of the holidays and then be pinning to them something that marries your product or service with that holiday. Same thing goes for the seasons. One example I do want to just elaborate on a little bit are lesser known holidays. So this might be helpful for you even on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter as well as Pinterest. There are those really funny, kooky days of the year. You know, it's right now, this course starts at the beginning of August or end of August. So August happens to be National Eat Dessert First month. And so that topic might be trending during August. And we want to have a board or at least a few pins that use that term. The second reason that it's important to create boards that take advantage of the lesser known holidays is that all of your Pinterest pins are searchable in Google. And those lesser known holidays, somebody might be going to Google and typing in, you know, National Ice Cream Month. And you ideally want your pin to show up, or your board to show up as the search result in Google. That's going to get you extra exposure and really helps establish you as an expert in your industry when you're showing up page 1 on Google. And again, it does have a lot to do with repins, so you don't want to miss lesson 2 when we talk about how to fast track your reach on Pinterest and get repins. All right, just one final note on the seasonal keywords. If you do go to Pinterest and you use their main category menu, there is a topic called holidays and events, and that's when you can see the most popular events that are trending at that point in time. That will give you a leg up on what boards you might want to create or what pins you might want to be pinning. All right, so now that we've gotten through why keywords are important for Pinterest, and we've gotten through how to brainstorm keywords with 3 other sources for keyword ideas using guided search, using the autofill suggestions, and using seasonal terms, that should give you a really solid list of keywords for your Pinterest account. And it's going to be up to you now to put them in your account so that you can get found. One of the places that you can put your #1 most important keyword is up in your business name. In this case, Brio's business name happens to be Brio Ice Cream, so it was very easy to incorporate. If not, I might have done something like Brio healthy non-GMO ice cream. And when that's up in the business name, it does affect how you show up in the pinner search results. So that could be another opportunity for brand exposure. In your about description on your profile, that's where you get 160 characters to describe what you do and what you'll be pinning about. This is a searchable area, so you want to try to incorporate as many keywords as you can. We've gotten ice cream, healthy, non-GMO, gluten-free. So I'm trying to hit a lot of keywords in there, but the most important thing is to make sure it still reads like a human being wrote it. You don't just want to keyword stuff your description. You definitely want it to, because it's typically your first impression on anybody who's going to be following you. So make it legible, but do your best to fit in 1 to 3 keywords if you can. The next spot, so just to explain this image that you see here, this top box right here is where you go to edit your profile. This bottom box down here is the screen that you see when you're editing an individual board. Your board names are really important for your keywords. So in this case, I used the ideas I got from the guided search suggestion to come up with ice cream sundae bar as our keyword. And then I continued to put it down here in the board description. So again, it needs to be legible and read like a human being wrote it, but still incorporate your keyword. So this one says, sprinkles and whipped cream are so yesterday. Discover healthy ice cream toppings. That's another keyword. Perfect to create a healthy ice cream sundae bar. There's my keyword again for your next party or gathering. And while I'm here showing you this, you absolutely want to fill in the category for every one of your boards. That's a big factor in how you can show up in the search results when someone searches pins for a specific category. The last place that you want to make sure that you're putting your keywords is on your individual pin descriptions. So if I'm pinning this image to my ice cream sundae bar board, then I know immediately ice cream sundae bar is my keyword that I'm going after, and I want to incorporate it in the description. In this case, I used a very casual tone in the first person. This is a much more approachable way to write your pin descriptions. So it says, I love this idea for a healthy ice cream sundae bar. Bingo, there's a keyword. use gluten-free waffle bowls. So I added gluten-free to this image to help show up for that keyword as well. And then so use gluten-free waffle bowls, Brio ice cream, and a variety of fresh fruit. So now that it reads accurately, but we're getting in healthy ice cream as a keyword. We're getting in ice cream sundae bar as a keyword. We're getting in ice cream down here as a keyword, and gluten-free. So just to review what you've learned today, first you learned why keywords are so important for Pinterest. It's all about search when it comes to getting long-term results. 2, we covered the basics of brainstorming keywords, knowing that you have both words that describe your product and words that describe what's unique about your product. Then we went into 3 sources that you can use for coming up with better, more Pinterest relevant keywords. One being guided search suggestions, then the autofill suggestions, and seasonal trending keywords. And then lastly, we talked about these 5 places where you're going to put those keywords on your profile. You're going to put them in your profile name, your profile description. You're going to get them on your board names and your board descriptions. And then each time you pin something to that board, you're going to incorporate that keyword in your pin description. Making a habit of using your keywords like this is going to drastically help how you show up in search. But you still need to focus on getting repins if you want to be at the top of the search result. And again, that's something that we're covering in lesson 2, how to fast track your reach. I hope you found today's lesson really helpful. You can reach out to me if you have any follow-up questions whatsoever. And definitely put this to use right away. The keywords, you can always be adding keywords later. So get your core keywords up there, trim up with your 25 boards, and get that foundation that'll set you up to fast track your reach and make Pinterest the #1 source of website traffic. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.